And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel. I had not heard that The Seventh Guest was getting a board game. The Seventh Guest is one of the first video games that I played. Actually, it's the very first video game I played on a CD-ROM. I'd never heard of such a thing. I played it. It was spooky. It was scary. It had puzzles. I enjoyed it. I mean, the spooky, scary parts of it are laughable today, but at the time, I was in college. I was like, what is this? And it was just a neat aspect all around. And it was just neat to have this house you went through with puzzles. The story didn't make any sense. But now there's a board game based on this? All right, that's cool. I find out this was a Kickstarter. I hadn't noticed it when it was on Kickstarter, but I'm noticing it now. Let's take a look. To play this game, you're going to draw a certain number of destination cards per player. Depends on how long you want to torture yourself. These destination cards are going to show various rooms, bathroom and chapel and game room and kitchen, and they also show a picture of the room. They don't show you where on the map it is, but you can figure it out if you squint a long time. So each player is going to start on this spot that's helpfully marked start here, and on a player's turn they're going to roll this die. This die is numbered 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. This is a 9. You're going to forget and think it's a 6 all the time, but you just have to remember all the numbers on here are odd. When you roll, you will move that many spaces around here. How do you get to this section over here? Well, this says 2 second floor, and then up here somewhere, oh, here it is, 2 grand stairway. That's just one space. And then some of the rooms, you can go from here to the kitchen. So you're going to spend a lot of time trying to figure out how to get to these rooms. Why do you want to go to the room? Because if you get to the room, then you get a puzzle. Ooh, there is a lot of different puzzles in this game, and someone will draw a card and they'll read it to you and you have to guess the answer. If you can't guess the answer, you can ask for a hint, and some cards will have a hint. But look, this one doesn't, so that's not very useful. So let's take a look at some of these puzzles that are in the game. So here, for example, this blockbuster movie spun off at least 4 sequels. The first word has 3 letters. The second word has 4 letters. Now, I'm missing a letter here. Now, of course, when the first letter starts with D and the last one ends in E, there's not a tremendous amount of words that could go there, but I'm sure there's a lot of movies that start with the word dough. And then here, you just have to figure out what that is. So maybe I don't know, I'll ask for a hint. The hint is the dashes represent missing letters. Oh! That would not have occurred to me. So you can guess maybe it's Die Hard. Okay, this one here. Henry Stoff tells Julia Hine he will lock her in one of 3 rooms, but she has a choice of which room it's to be. He tells her the first room is filled with raging fires, the second room are homicidal lunatics with machetes, and in the third room is a pack of hyenas who haven't eaten in years. Which room should Julia choose as the safest, and why? I'm sure this hint here isn't a clue at all. So let's take a look at, is there a hint for this? No, you just have to know this one. All right, well, if you haven't read this on the internet 600 times, it's the hyenas because they're dead if they haven't eaten in years. Here, to escape alive from a closed room, you have to enter a code in the door. You can only guess once. The code is the product of multiplication of the keypad's digit. What number will you enter? So you have to multiply all the digits here together and get an answer. So let's take a look at the hint. Hint 1, you have to multiply all of the 10 digits. Hint number 2, why not start with the last digit? Oh, here I find 3 numbers. The numbers are marked number 3, number 5, and number 7. I picked up a scrap of paper with the words soul, heel, and bobs. These words have something to do with the rooms. What could these words possibly mean? Has anyone who played this game been in the 80s and used a calculator? It's just very, again. But wait, let's see what the hint says. Try looking at the words in a new way. Ooh. Here I'm in the music room. You meet 2 men who are standing next to 3 grandpanos, 6 cockroaches, 8 spiders, and 4 rats are running on the floor around them. The room is lit by a floor lamp. How many snakes are there in the music room? Now you might be going, what? This is actually a more clever puzzle than the other one because basically the number of things is how many legs each one has. So since snakes have no legs, there would be 0 snakes. Here's just a trivia question. Three's Company character inhales helium, becoming mass murder. Well, not really a trivia question. It's a mix, so there's going to be 4, 3, and 6 letters in the word. So it's a Three's Company character inhaling helium, becoming a mass murderer. So let's take a look at the hint number 1. Hopefully you know both 70s sitcoms and Chemical Elements. Oh, that's good because that gave me a clue. Second, Jack Tripper is the protagonist of the TV comedy Three's Company. So Jack Tripper plus helium becomes, well, Jack the Ripper. So that's kind of what you're going to find in this game. You're going to find clues like that. Sometimes you might find a trivia clue here where I need to know what's the nickname given to the serial killer John Kramer in the Saw series. Is it Auger, Conundrum, Screwdriver, or Jigsaw? And is there a clue for that one? No, there's not, because obviousness. But anyhow, if you get the card correct, you get to discard your destination card and draw a new one. Now you got to go to the gallery. If you don't get it correct, you just stay there and try to guess it again next turn. If you take a hint or more, for each hint you take, you are -1 from your die rolls until you get to your next location. Now you might say, well, wait a minute, what if you draw locations that are lab to Dutton's bedroom, back to the lab again? Yeah, you're lucky, as opposed to that person who draws lab and goes to the dining room and then back to the game room, because they have to roll dice. But maybe they'll land on these small spots called mystery spells. If that's the case, you will draw a mystery spell here. So they might give you an extra turn. You might become, if you're the ghost, your spirit is set free. If someone dies, they become the ghost. There's like a special thing. Send another guest to a room of your choice. Tag, you're the ghost now. Invite any guest to help solve a puzzle and share in the rewards. Take a destination card from a guest of your choice. Magically solve a puzzle. You can just keep this and solve a puzzle. Roll a 7, and you immediately go to your destination. Want a balloon, Sonny? Go to the game room. So that's that. That's pretty much the game. The first person to get rid of all their destination cards is the winner, as is every other player, because the game is over. So the game comes with a bunch of miniatures here, including the ghost. If you play with the ghost, if you draw that card that says you become the ghost, now you're the ghost and you can't do anything else. You just have to chase other players. If you land another player, they become the ghost, and so on and so forth, unless you draw that card that says you're free as the ghost. So basically, you just run around tagging each other. The board itself is really bad. I mean, these spaces, if you're going to make spaces for characters, to make it so that they cover up the whole space, the font here is bad. It's hard to figure out where you can go in this place. Maybe there are people who've memorized the locations in the actual Seventh Guest video game, but whoever drew this board just does not have very good at graphic designs. There's a humongous amount of destination cards, and then there's these mystery spells cards. There's fewer of them, which is great because you'll hardly ever land on those spaces. You got to land on them exactly. And then there's the puzzle cards, which are fine. This magnifying glass, okay, yay. This whole Captain Crunch thing is fine, and it's not too hard to read the answers. And so the cards are nice-ish enough, but when it comes to the gameplay, yeah, let's talk about that. Oh my. Well, obviously, if you've been watching at this point, you know that I'm not a fan of this game at all. However, it is so horrible that I laugh the entire time I play it. I don't get this game. I don't know why this game exists other than to make money off the Seventh Guest board game, the Seventh Guest license. It literally is roll and move, going to random rooms that you draw on cards. That is mind-blowingly awful right there. Forget everything else about the game. The board game part of this, where you roll to go to random rooms and maybe land on space that give you stuff, that's awful. The person who designed this doesn't play games at all, in my opinion. They cannot if they think that's a good game. I'm trying to think of when we list bad games from our childhood and stuff. Even Life is better than that. Life gives you choices and things. It's just awful. But let's pretend that part of the game doesn't exist. You really could. Just throw that part of the game out and just do the answers and the questions and stuff. They are just laughably bad. Some of them are interesting. There's some interesting puzzles, although I will say there's almost no new puzzles in this game. I'm a kind of a puzzle guy. I don't do them all the time, but I go through puzzles often. And so I'm going through puzzle after puzzle after puzzle, and I'm like, I've seen that, I've seen that, I've seen that, I've seen that, I've seen that. I've just seen these puzzles in other places. They're just cribbed from probably the internet. Then there's trivia. Okay, fine. Why would I want to know? It doesn't even match, right? So if you're making a game about the Seventh Guest, some of the movies and things they're talking about didn't even exist when this video game came out. Then they have the weirdest clues. The hint system is ridiculous. It's like that. You saw that one, where you're mixing the Three's Company with the Element. They're like, I hope you know the Three's Company thing. No kidding. No. The clues consistently are just like really bad clues. Sometimes the answer to the picture is in the picture on the card. There was one clue where you had said there was a picture of some notes, and it said, find the code in these notes. And the code was dead face. But next to the notes was a picture of a dead face emoji. So let's say you couldn't figure that out. So I look at hint number one, and hint number one is, hopefully you know how to read music. No kidding. And then hint number two said, the first note is D. Oh, because if I didn't know how to read music, giving me the first note isn't going to help here, buddy. Oh, it's so bad. I will admit, every time I play this, laugh, 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 laugh. But we're laughing at how bad the game is. Definitely not laughing, and I'm laughing at the fact that this was made in 2018. Come on! I have nothing good about this game other than it made us laugh at it. This is like if there was a Mystery Science Theater 3000, version of people who sat and mocked things, this would be the game they would mock because it's that bad. I cannot recommend this for anybody. I also think this is one of the few games, there's a lot of times where I sit there and go, this game isn't for me. This game is objectively bad. I challenge someone, other than the people who were creating the game and made it, to give me a redeeming quality of it, because other than making people laugh at how bad it is, because there isn't any. I'm wasting my time. Let's go. Dice Tower Judgment, so bad it's bad!